what advice would you offer all levels of government if another pandemic happens?
To jump, as some of the other governments did, and shut things down immediately and not listening to the public whining about their restrictions. Just jump fast.
Take action earlier. I feel like honestly the fact that like Montreal was like still having everything open and like no masks during like the middle of a pandemic and like very into like June and July was like pretty crazy. Like I feel like we would have like saved a lot of people's lives if we took action a lot sooner and like listened to people rather than just like wait till the last minute to do things.
To pursue in a well-rounded communication strategy, and yeah, that's what I would strongly recommend. Although I'm not a politician, but I think as an elector, as a citizen, that's what worked for me.
I think with what happened exactly, too much traveling, I think things should have been shut down like much faster. I think for any future pandemic, they're going to realize that, it traveled very quickly, and to cut it off at the beginning would make the most sense.
Close sooner, I guess. Just react sooner, like Australia and New Zealand did. Just a way to stay close and keep life alive inside the country. And then
maybe don't prioritize the economy that much. Maybe try to be more restrictive in the beginning to have a less long effect rather than a short one but concise one.
I feel like they should focus more like on mental health. I feel like that has been put aside, and like the damage to people in terms of suicide, like in my close, or not even close, but people that I know, has increased so much. And I feel like we should take that into consideration also.
Be excessively cautious and actually enforce the regulations. So if you have restrictions telling people don't gather at the park in big groups of people, actually try to enforce them. Because from what I've seen looking around here, I mean, you see, and not so much this year, well, you see it this year, but more people are vaccinated. But last year, there was no enforcement whatsoever. And so that was frustrating, walking around and just seeing people kind of not really caring. Seemingly not caring.
Well, I think what happened in New Zealand worked really well, just the shutdown for 2 weeks completely, and then now they're doing really well and going around maskless and all that. So
I think it's really important, right off the bat, to take anything seriously. I think we kind of want to believe that it's not true, and I think that kind of lets it get worse.
I would think through an action plan. I think we've got some learnings from this one here, so think through that. I think we've got some emergency planning established now to get us through the next one a lot easier.
I don't know. I feel like the lockdowns are not working. You kind of have to just deal with it. It's like the flu. We still live and work. I don't think we should be closed down.
I think being faced with a new pandemic is total reality at this time. At this point, everybody knows that anything can happen, I think. So to have some contingency plans in place for the future, I think that's important. I think it's difficult to think of while we're in it right now, but I think that down the line, of course, we should be using what we learn now to better understand how to protect ourselves in the future.
I just think kind of reviewing, if another pandemic was to happen, reviewing kind of what we've gone through in this situation, because it's not really something that many of us have experienced before, and just seeing how we can kind of tweak our approaches from this time around or adopt the same approaches. Just kind of reviewing how this went, essentially, once it's over, hopefully.
Well, I think if that happens, I think, again, continue with the restrictions and the lockdowns within community. We have to control it. It's a very dangerous virus, so yeah, not a problem.
I'm very hopeful that the lessons that we've learned this time around will lead our politicians to be more assertive from the get-go. And I hope that the creativity that different jurisdictions have shown, particularly I think Nova Scotia, will inform public policy across the country and lead to some more predictable and clearer outlines and guidelines for people to follow in the future?
Oh, I don't know. Trust science, I think, is probably the way to go as far as responding to a pandemic.
Overall, I think we did okay. Yeah, I would just say maybe start restrictions a little sooner just so we could maybe open up or even just limit the amount of people in stores sooner. But yeah, I think overall it was pretty good.
I like the idea of playing it safe rather than sorry. It's been really successful here in all of the other Atlantic provinces, but I do agree that, yeah, with the small businesses, I wish that they could get more support as we're both kind of in that industry, but other than that, I feel like we're doing pretty good.
Well, I think the big learning curve so far around the world globally has been the fast response to limiting people's movement. The COVID-19 only travels based on people traveling. It doesn't travel by itself. So I think the best advice I would have to say is do some more of the same, but maybe earlier even, and put up with the people being mad at being restricted.